これはもう確かに人間じゃない。僕はもう化け物なのだから。
Sometimes the best weapon to defeat your enemies are their own weapons. Back then when I played CSGO. For my Dota 2 experience so far, most of my enemies always have at least one carry that relies on hitting and they are quote-unquote the enemy's weapon. There is one specific hero in the game that can turn their weapon against them. That hero is Winter Wyvern. Yep, she is my favorite hero. First of all, Winter's Curse. This is the ability that can turn enemies' weapon against themselves by making their teammates hit the target with an increased attack speed. I really like this ability. Second skill, Splinter Blast. Deals damage and slows enemies near the target. This is to harass and farm for yourself. Then the first skill, Arctic Burn. Slows and deals percentage of damage based on their current health while also increasing her attack range and let her fly over cliffs and trees for the duration. Finally, a dragon that can actually fly, unlike Dragon Knight. This is a tank eater and a harassing ability as well. Lastly, her third skill, called Embrace. Heals and protect an allied target from physical damage but also stun them. It's an ability that heals teammates. It's what every superhero should have. Overall, I like this hero and she is pretty decent both in early and late game. Also, another reason why I like this hero is that she is a wyvern. Not my most favorite type of dragon, but a welcome one.
When I'm playing games since I was little, I always like to be a character that has or associated with royalty, nobility, or something like that. For example, during every Dungeons and Dragons session with my friends, I will always change my name, race, and class, but there's one thing that I will never change. Background. I will always use the noble background, no matter what. When I started to play Dota, my friends suggested me to use the sniper because they said it was the easiest hero to use. Then when I started to get a grasp on how Dota works, I started to look at the hero list. Hence, I found my favorite hero, Great King. Why? First, it has King on his name. Yep, King, that's why I developed an interest to him. Second, it is actually very easy to use. I always hated having to press a lot of buttons for skills and this hero only have 2 active skills. His kit is pretty standard, a single target stun that helps in teamfights, lifesteal that actually affect your teammates as well, crit plus summon sands to boost your damage, and reincarnation that helps when you are being stupid and being ganked by 5 people when your teammates isn't there. Overall, this hero is very basic but very strong. That's why I like Great King.
If you were to ask one of my friends' opinion about my playstyle in games, I believe most of them would say that I'm a really aggressive player, sometimes even too aggressive, which is why mobility is the name of the game for me. So for Dota's case, most of the heroes I play are on the agility section, because agility gives movement speed and they also tend to have a lot of mobility, and mobility generally feels really nice for me. So who's actually my favorite hero? Well, the brief story goes like this. One day I played a match of Dota 2 with my friends, and on the picking stage nobody picked anything and we're losing a lot of money, so I decided to random. Luckily, the game ended up giving me an agility hero, and one that I've never seen before. And being the dumbass that I am, I immediately regret only finding this hero after 700 hours of Dota because Ember Spirit is awesome. So what skill set does he have that makes Ember my favorite hero? Well, his first 2 skills are pretty standard. One makes you deal AoE damage to enemies around you and one roots enemies around you. Then there's Sleight of Fist, which lets you dash and attack all enemies in an area. You can even combo it with the 2 other skills. Dude, you're sick. And finally, for his ultimate, You can throw a remnant and dash to it whenever you want. This right here is what sold me on Ember Spirit. What convinced me that Ember would get along pretty well with me. This ultimate gives you so much mobility, both aggressively and defensively. And you can do some really crazy things with this skill. It's beautiful. Overall, Ember is my favorite hero because of how aggressive you can get and still get out of situations where you clearly should have died. You don't have to be tanky if you can just not get it at all.
So I used to play League of Legends before Dota, and one of my favorite there is Gangplank because he's a power farmer, which means he farms fast and scale well and eventually one-shots people with an AoE ability. One of his major weakness is the fact that his AoE ability is one of the hardest ability to hit people with, and that he's still very squishy and gives him a nice sense of balance. Now in Dota, I in general dislike most carries because they all just seem so overloaded. Everyone has that one thing that makes their identity, and I just don't feel right when playing these heroes because they're just so uncomfortable. That is until I found Arc Warden. So I'll start from his skill. Skill 1 slows one enemy unless they have a friendly unit near him. Skill 2 makes a bubble that evades attack from the outside. Skill 3 spawns a raid that deals damage to the nearest enemy. So far, he looks really counterable just by playing the game normally. Now what does his ult does? It spawns an illusion that can use item and skills just like the original Arc Warden. This ult does so much things, it's insane. Just to start with, it deals the same damage as the original Arc Warden, so you don't have to stack attribute like other illusion heroes. It gives a lot of option with your itemization, like it works with Midas, which gives you extra gold and EXP every time you use it, making you gain gold very fast. It works with Boots of Travel, which lets you teleport to any friendly creep in the game, basically letting you AFK farm the jungle, while your illusion just teleports to the lane and farms safely. It works with Side of Vice, letting you disable someone completely twice as long. This ult basically redefines how Arc Warden is, and I love it because it still punishes you if you don't keep it safe by giving it a very huge bounty if it's killed by the enemy. Come back to my League experiences. I really like Arc Warden because he's also a power farmer that has such a conditional skill to use with. But when he has enough items, he doesn't just instantly becomes the most ridiculous hero in Dota. But instead, you still need to play him carefully according to his strengths and conditional skills. This is why I like Arc Warden.
On the other games besides Dota 2, I usually play the role of the support and complex heroes because it's challenging and fun to play with. When you play high level complexity heroes, it feels like you're the coolest person on that game, and I really love challenges. I actually found my favorite Dota 2 hero all the way back in Dota 1 era. Very few people play it because it wasn't meta at the time, and yes, it's not Rubik, it's not Invoker, but it's Colin the Earth Spirit. The reason I like Colin is, first of all, this guy is packed all the essential you need for a team fight. He's got the damage, the disable, crowd control, you name it. And thus the trade-off for this very overpowered skill set is that the hero is very hard to play. The combo is pretty simple. You simply silence the target, stuns him with a rolling boulder, slow him with a boulder smash, and use Magnetize to end your enemy's whole career. Magnetize is the main skill that have a big role in team fights. And there you go, my favorite hero at Dota 2 is Earth Spirit. Hard to play but deadly when you know how to use it.
Hello guys, Fueva here. So let's go to main topic today. My favorite hero in Dota 2 is a Phantom Assassin, because I think she's the one and the only hard carry in Dota 2 that acts like an assassin. Phantom Assassin become my favorite hero right after I play Dota, because first off, she look really cool. I mean, just look at this. Second is because her skill set is suit me well. Her main skill is Coup de Grace, which is a passive critical ability that deals a lot of damage. This skill should not be underestimated because any hero can die in a few seconds when faced with a strong PA thanks to this skill. Her other skills are also nice. Her dagger allow me to harass and farm in the early game. And her bring is really nice both for initiation and escape. And don't forget about her last skill, Bull, because it's make you invisible both in the map and the enemy vision. And it also gives you 50% of evasion, which make you extremely durable to physical damage. Killing the enemy backliner before their team even know that their backliner is dead is what both me and Phantom Assassin like to do. Now, that's what I call a true assassin.
I think my favorite hero in Dota 2 has to be Phoenix. One of the reasons I like Phoenix is its design. The mix between the orange and gold colors as well as its body radiating flames. I think it just looks really fierce and majestic. Gameplay wise, Phoenix is a very strong team fighter, with abilities that give your teammates an advantage by both debuffing your opponents as well as dealing lots of damage over time. To top it all off, its ultimate ability, Supernova, gives enemies fighting Phoenix a hard time. It can be used either as an initiation or counter initiation. It forces the enemy to make a choice: fight in the range of Supernova, taking damage over time and risk getting stunned by the end, or to run away from the fight, which can throw off their momentum if they initiate it on your team, or to focus on hitting the sun, which provides the opportunity for Phoenix's teammates to free hit its enemies. Also, using Meteor Hammer on this hero is really cool because you get to push the towers without much worry, and yeah, I just really like it.